it's Liz Yuille from Old Staples Crafts. Thank you for joining me again today for another Inspire Create Challenge Day. And today we have a theme, and the theme is movement. Now, I've seen a couple of the other design team projects already, and all I can say is we have a very interesting definition of movement. Some people have taken it one way, some people have taken it another way, some people are somewhere in the middle. My movement is my flying pig, because she believed she could, so she did. So this is my little interactive card that I'm going to show you how to make today. It's not that difficult. It's just following steps. The first thing I'm going to do, because it needs to dry, is with a piece of the silver metallic edged ribbon that is in the annual catalogue. So it's the Whisper White with the silver edge. I've just got the dark balmy blue blend, and I am just going to change the colour of my ribbon, because I can. I believed I could, so I did. So the whole premise of the Inspire Create Challenge group is that the design team make some projects to inspire you, and then you enter. There is no prize as such, other than we announce the winner, and you can then get a badge to put on your website, if you have a website. You can do this through Pinterest and various other means as well. All the information is on the Inspire Create Challenge website, and you can get to that through my website, and there's the post for the associated blog post for this is linked immediately below. So if you go there, then you can hop straight over to the Inspire Create Challenge website. So there we are, that's my ribbon, which I just need to leave to dry. Knowing me, I will forget where I've put it. So I'm going to change things up just a tiny weeny bit, because I'm going to use a Pear Pizzazz background. So the card is made with a half sheet of thick Whisper White, and then I've got a small piece of Whisper White, just ordinary Whisper White, that I'm using as the backer for my paper, because the mechanism needs something slightly thicker than paper to make it run. So I've got a piece of Whisper White that is, well, no, let's start with this. The Designer Series paper, which is from the Colour Pack, and it's the Subtles family Designer Series paper. That's in the annual catalogue as well. So this is cut at 3 inches by 4 3/4. Do not worry about writing it down. It will be on my website, and as I say, that is linked immediately below. And I've got measurements for International A4, both imperial and metric, and for North American letter card in inches. So 3 inches by 4 3/4, and a piece of card that is very, 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 very fractionally smaller, just so that it doesn't actually show round the edge of the card, round the edge of the paper rather. So all I'm going to do to start with is adhere one to other. Now I do need this to be reasonably well adhered, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run snail round the edge, and apparently onto my grid paper, round the edge of my card, and then I'm going to put some liquid adhesive into the middle of the card, so that I know I've got good adhesion, because I don't want the paper to separate from the card with the mechanism. So I will just do a scribble of paper down the middle, scribble of glue down the middle of my card, and then just adhere my paper to that card, remembering that there is a very slight margin, as in the card is slightly smaller. I'm going to get irritated by this stick on my grid paper now. Let me get my glue eraser. We don't carry these anymore, unfortunately, but they're jolly useful, because they just lift off any little bits of glue that you've got where you don't want them. and it just lifts off and it becomes a little sort of glob that you can then peel off, and it's all good to go. So that's my balmy blue. Then I've got a piece of Pear Pizzazz, and I've used the die that is one of the coordination dies, and it's the one that goes with the special someone, and it's this one, which is grass. Now remember, this is going to carry over to the annual catalogue, so my suspicion is that the stamp set is as well. But if you get them now, of course you can qualify for celebration items, which is always a plus. So I'm just going to pop some glue on the back of this. I think I'll lose that irritating little bit of grass that seems to be falling off anyway. And again, I want to make sure that the glue is reasonably close to the edge so that it becomes as one. And just pop that on, and there we go. Right, so that's all ready, and that now I can set that aside to dry. The next thing I'm going to do is to stamp and colour the pig. I'm going to stamp it, then take a break so that the ink can dry, and then I will colour it. So all I want to do is ink up the pig. I don't actually need the sentiment at this point. This is thick Whisper White, and I'm just going to stamp that down, and there we go. Oop, and a piece of fluff, and I'm not worried about the sentiment having stamped a little bit because I'm going to cut it off anyway. But while we are stamping, I'm going to bring in a scrap, which is actually one of the coordination products, flyers. But there we go. I've got a piece of Whisper White, which is just an offcut from when I'm cutting my mats. I always keep, particularly the Whisper White, it's quite useful to keep for these sorts of things. So I've inked up She Believed She Could, and stamp that down. And there we go. Perfect. Right, so I don't need that stamp anymore. What I do need is my good old-fashioned classic label punch. I love this punch. I will be very, very upset if it ever goes away. And there we go. So that is that stamped out. And while I'm in the realm of punches, I've got the pretty label punch, because that is what I have used to make the clouds. Now I've got one done already, but what you want is a straight edge, and then line up your punch so that the outer bend, so you're losing the bottom two flourishes if you like. So just line it up so that those 2 points are together, and that is a cloud. It's one of the things I love doing, is looking at dies and stamps and punches and seeing them in a different way, but this is a perfect cloud. I've got a light smoky slate blend, which I'm just going to run round the outside of my cloud. Now while I'm doing all of this, do remember that if you wish to, you can subscribe to my channel, which is in the bottom right hand corner. I am so close to getting 8,000 subscribers. I would love to get there by the end of February. It's a big ask. I need about another 50 subscribers. So if you don't already subscribe, or you've got friends who you think might find this an interesting channel, then I've done a second one of these already, then why not get them to subscribe? That would be fantastic. And then I might get to my 8,000, and you never know, I might do a giveaway. I might be minded to do something to mark the special occasion. I did a craft room tour for my 7,000, which I had been promising for quite a long time. So I think I ought to be doing something to mark 8,000. Right, so that is that. Oh no, I do need that. I just remembered what I need that for. Right, okay, so this should now be dry, and it's fairly easy colouring. somewhere I have another blend. There we are. So I've got the duo of the petal pink and the light of the crumb cake. The first thing I'm going to do is colour in most of my pig, apart from the wings, with light petal pink. I will avoid her legs as well, but the rest of her, actually her snout isn't going to be coloured either, but just get a layer of light petal pink down, and then come in with my dark petal pink. I'm going to use the bullet end to begin with and colour her legs, because I just have this feeling that her legs would be a bit darker. So let's colour those in, and then I'm going to go all the way and swoosh round, because I think all of that would be darker because it's sort of in shadow. So that's that, and then I think her tail will do in dark as well. Oh, I mustn't forget her ears. Now I need to do dark and light on these. So start with light. I'm again going all the way over her ear, and then in with the dark, just on the edge there and as a shadow. And then we can come back in and blend that shadow out. Then the light crumb cake for her snout, and the inside of her ear. I will be doing some more blend work on that, but get some colour down to begin with. And then her trotters. And then the last thing I need to do is to come back in, which I'll use the bullet end again, and just blend that ear, just so that lightens it down and blends it in, so that this is a smoother transition. And that is basically all the colouring, other than Wink of Stella. She's got wings. So let's give her shiny Wink of Stellary wings. And there we go. Now, the next thing to do is to fussy cut. So that's the next thing to do, but with the miracle of pre-planning, there she is, all fussy cut out. It's not the most difficult shape. Right, so now the mechanism is really quite simple. What we need is a ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to measure about, I don't know, about an inch in. It's going to be kind of about here. So that's about an inch in. Straight is always clever. And then I want to be about 3/4 of an inch to an inch down, and then just draw a straight line down to the grass. That's all I need to draw at this stage. Then I'm going to grab my lovely new trimmer and pop this so that we are on that kind of inch mark, and then we can see the marks, the pencil line. And all I'm going to do is come in with my cutting blade an inch down, and there are little marks either side that you can see that will line you up with the inch mark. Come down until you get resistance. That will be the grass. So I'm right on the grass. And then move this one line across, so 1/4 of an inch across, and then we're going to repeat that process. So in at an inch, pull down until you hit resistance, the grass, and that is, oh, I need to go possibly a little higher up. So let's go a little higher up on both. So this is going to be maybe another 1/4 of an inch. And then move that across and down. So there we are. Okay, Now the mechanism, again, I've got a scrap of paper or card, and this is the standard Whisper White card, and I'm just folding it in an arbitrary place and giving it a really good crease. Then pop this through, and this is why I need my paper to be attached to my card, and then with that crease in place, then just fold over, and again we want to reinforce that crease so it's nice and sharp, and then all we need to do is cut one end off and then cut the other end off, and this one I'm going to cut so that it's parallel or lined up against that crease, and this is going to be the top of my piece and this is going to be the inside. So let's pop that through. So this is the one that's going to go down first, and then this will be the piece that we stick our pig to. So let me just get rid of the, I don't want a pointed end. Let's get rid of that, except I need those scissors again. So I'm going to cut, actually I'm going to take this off and put it to it. Do it so that it's not sticking to the paper. So this is the inside bit that we're going to stick down. So I'm going to put my sticky tape, my tear and tape down, trim right up to that edge. And this is very important. You do not want adhesive overlapping because things could stick down. So I'm going to take this backing off, and then the bit that's sticking out I'm going to fold back on itself so that it's not going to stick to anything other than itself. Pop that back through and fold my outside piece over the top like that, and then put a piece of sticky tape onto that, and that is what we're going to stick first to our ribbon and then the ribbon to our pig. So we need this to be in place, and it will be quite stiff to begin with. So grab our ribbon, and this actually gets stiff because it's got the blender pen on it. So let's rub that so that it's really well stuck. Peel off the backing paper and lay this down so that it's kind of the same distance from top and bottom. There we go. And this will then move that slider up and down. So if I do it from this side, I don't know if you can see, that slider is moving up and down. So we can then stick our pig to that. So more tear and tape. This is definitely a tear and tape project. And only in that tear and tape is a really nice strong adhesive. I would not use snail for this, and I wouldn't use a wet adhesive. Wet adhesive on ribbon is not a great combination. So where are we? 19 minutes, good grief. So yes, as I was saying earlier, do remember to go and have a look at my website, and then go and have a look at the rest of the Inspire Create Challenge group just by clicking the link. Now this, I'm going to line up my sticky and then just guide it into place, press it down well, and then we've got our slider. Most of the rest we've already done, so all is good. The first thing I'm going to do is stick this to my card base. I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz this time, and I do not want any glue round, you know, that's going to get caught up with this, because the mechanism is important. we need it to work. So I'm going to avoid anything round there, do a little bit more there, and then pop this onto our card. And of course I would like to know whether you prefer the one with the balmy blue or the pear pizzazz, because why wouldn't I be asking that? You can leave that in the comments below or over on my website. So we've got our two clouds, and this is where you want edge pieces. I'm going to bring in a new set with edge pieces because I want these pieces here, and at the moment I don't have those pieces on the piece that I've got left, because what I want is to make sure that my ribbon is going to run freely. So I'm going to pop one about there, and then the other piece the other side, so that it's got a channel for the ribbon to run. Remove the backing pieces and then just grab one dimensional to go at the far end. Pull that up and pop this so that it covers our dimensionals. And then this one, I'm going to put another dimensional at the far end. And then just a little bit of adhesive here, just so that they kind of keep body and soul together. And whoops, let's take off the backer, always a plan. And pop that there. And then this can go onto my card base, which is, as I say, is just half a sheet of A4 scored in the middle. The only other thing that I need to do while I think about it is to put the other bit of the sentiment on the inside. And this is where sticking your stickers on would be a really good idea. I need to retrofit this with the new sticky. There we are, so she did. So I must. Let's not tempt Providence. Glue. Glue, glue. And then all I need to do is add a few rhinestones, put the sentiment on, and we're good to go. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing me make this card. It's a bit different, particularly for me. These aren't the sorts of cards that I generally do, but I think sometimes that's kind of the whole idea, is to do something a little different, so we don't get stuck in a rut. So let me just take a couple of these bits. This is also where the small dimensionals would be really useful, but as I'm using larger ones and the edge pieces, I'm going to continue with the larger ones and the edge pieces. Do have a go at entering the challenge, any sort of movement. As I say, we have had a very, very wide range of interpretations of movement by the design team, which is great. It's really why there's a design team. So let me just grab a dimensional for the last dot there, and a medium dimensional rhinestone. One there which covers up a bit of a splodge, and one, I had that one in under there, but I think I'm going to bring this down actually. I'm going to have it there. And that is our movement card. And she flies, because she thought she could, she believed she could, so she did. So isn't that just such fun? So there we go. There's the balmy blue version. There's the pear pizzazz version. Do let me know which you prefer. Do have a go. As I say, all the dimensions, close-up photos, and I'll try and have it with the insides working as well. Or maybe not. Anyway, I will try and explain how I did it. And yeah, Thank you very much indeed for watching. As I say, if you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe, it's in the bottom right-hand corner. And do remember, if you're in the UK, I would be thrilled if you would shop with me so that I can share my customer service with you. And if you're looking to join a team, I currently have team in Europe and all over the UK. So if you're in the UK, France, Germany, the Netherlands or Austria, you are very welcome to join the fun. Thank you very much indeed, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!